Greetings and welcome to the Random University. Today I'm joined by Scott, Dan, Eric, and we have a special guest today, stand-up comedian, rapper, and the host of Daddy Fuego's Liquor Boost Trying Out Show. I'm sorry, I chopped that up. It's tough to say. It's a mouthful. And one quarter of the Let's Talk After Dark podcast, Damian Rivera. How you doing, man?
I'm awesome. Thank you so much for inviting me on this show. I love when people from other podcasts collaborate. It's awesome. And the fans like it too. Like, it's like crossover episodes.
Yeah, exactly. Because you blend everything up, it gets different conversations, things like that. Now you're from Boston, right?
Me, I'm from Springfield, Massachusetts, but my adult life from 17 on, I spent in the Boston area.
Okay.
But Springfield's about 2 hours away.
Okay. Are you a Red Sox fan?
It's funny because I don't watch baseball at all.
There you go. Dan, that answers your question.
That answers my question. You got to take off the hat now.
I am a football fan.
Yankees? Are you Patriots?
I am a Patriots fan. I am prepared to defend it. And I have to defend it, which sucks.
You don't have to. I'm all about Team Tom Brady here.
Team Tom's gone.
But it's gone. That's
fine.
Cam Newton now.
He's still a Patriot forever.
Yeah. What do you feel about the Cam Newton signing?
Oh man.
With that?
I feel like I'm excited because it's better than Brian Hoyer. And especially Stidham. Like I don't have too much faith in Stidham. But so I was happy about it. But I will say this. He is building a mighty tall mountain for himself to climb.
Yes, he is.
With everything he's saying. And I get the chip on his shoulder. Like, I'm 100% with him. I get why he feels the way he feels after what happened in Carolina. But he's talking a lot of shit. And he's doing this whole we going up north thing. And I'm like, boy, you better perform. Everything you're talking about. You better do something about that, because if you start going to the other team like Darnold does,
then there's going to be a lot of problems.
Oh yeah.
The only thing I would say about it is, I feel like Belichick bringing him in, he's got to have something up his sleeve for it.
Oh yeah. Because
Belichick's not just going to go after just a name. He goes after players with a purpose. As much as I can't stand the Patriots, as much as I hate Belichick, I'm a Steelers fan, so I'm very fucking bitter when it comes to the Patriots.
You just hate our games are so close
all the time.
Yeah, it's always by some technicality.
Like Jesse James touchdown getting called not a touchdown.
You know what sucks about the Steelers-Pats games? Is when that happens, when things like that happen, I stay off of Twitter.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I stay off of Twitter because I'm like, shit, here we go. Because sometimes, those wins are so they're not wins.
Pretty much.
They're not. And when that happens, I'm like, damn, here we go. Oh, here goes Belichick paying off the refs, and you get that whole conversation, and I'm like, and I can't say anything about it because I'm like, I saw that shit too. So
win to win.
What'd you say?
Win to win.
It is. No, especially last year when it came to the Chiefs, because that game, when we lost against the Chiefs, they gave them 3 touchdowns that they didn't get. Come on, I was stressed out. I was stressed out during that game, but I'm not taking anything away, obviously, from the Chiefs. I'm not saying if we would have won, they wouldn't have won the Super Bowl. Absolutely, we sucked. We were awful last year, and I'm the Pats fan that will admit that is not because Brady didn't have weapons. I don't think that that's true. I think that Tom Brady is getting a little light
up in age.
Yeah. I'll say it. I'm an Edelman fan anyway, and I think he led the league in drops.
Who, Edelman?
Yeah, and that hurts my heart. When you see your favorite player and you're wearing his jersey and you lost the game for your team, you just kind of want to take it off and hide it.
Yeah, or you want to cry when your favorite player
Ugh.
one time drops a snap and you just end up drinking 15 Warm Bush Lights after a fucking 21-20 loss.
Wow, I don't know if there's anything in the world that would make me drink a Bush Light.
Yeah, try having your quarterback drop a snap at the 1 yard line for taking a field goal.
So what are you drinking? Like, what's your drink of choice? Because that's the thing that I was watching with your the Liquor Booze trying show. Like,
you guys like the show? You enjoy?
Oh my god!
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge craft beer lover, and it was just so interesting to see somebody like you have that for the first time and be like, holy shit! It's just like an orange juice.
God. Yeah. So let me tell you something about that double scoop. I don't know. Do you guys have that down there?
We don't, but you have one of the top beers, Treehouse, which is 20 minutes away from you.
Yeah. I'll have to look and see what that is. But I'm a liquor guy. I drink liquor, and what happened was on July 4th of this year, I watch a lot of that stuff on YouTube, but it's all boring, I noticed. Because it's those guys are so damn uppity. And when they do their liquor reviews, I was like, oh God, you got to do. And it was really boring for me. And I was like, wouldn't this be funny if a comic did this? Who didn't know shit about who had a YouTube education. So I ended up I'm a liquor guy. My drink of choice, you asked, was Hennessy. And what happened, it's not because I'm Puerto Rican, it's because it's I like it. But what ended up happening was July 4th, I ended up going to the grocery store and I was looking for something that was like Hennessy, but not, because I was in a bad mood. And for some reason up here, I don't know how it is down there, but they'll have a wall of all this expensive liquor, and the only thing locked up in a case is Hennessy.
Yeah, I worked at a liquor store. Let me put it this way. There is racial profiling that goes on there. And they only lock up and keep certain things at the counter, and it's so obvious, and no one realizes how horrible it is. It's no one, and I remember working there, and I'm like, why is that locked up? And they're like, oh, it gets taken. It's our number one seller, so we keep it up front. And I go, that's what you're telling people?
Yeah, Hennessy is not your number. And what's funny? Okay, so what was locked? Okay, they had a $179 bottle of Dom Perignon on the shelf. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is a local grocery store. Wow, it's on the shelf. They had all these wines, $100, $200 on the shelf. What was locked up was the shit we drink. It was Hennessy and Patron. That was it. Now, they had a bottle. Now, Hennessy is $35, but they had a bottle, I believe it's called Martell, right? Martell's $50. That was all on the shelf, right next to the case with the Hennessy in it. And I didn't feel I couldn't find anybody that worked in the liquor department at the time. I didn't feel like getting anybody. And I was like, screw it, I just want to try it. And in my head, I'm like, dude, I don't even know if Hennessy is a good cognac. I just drink it because it's all I ever had when I used to club because I'm 31. So back when I was 21, I just started drinking it. And finally I tracked somebody down and I said, hey, question, you know anything about brandies? And he was just like, yeah. I'm like, I'm trying to not be am I allowed to swear on here?
Yeah.
All right. So I didn't want to be a basic bitch anymore. And I wanted to find something that was just different from Hennessy and stuff, because Hennessy is here it's $45, and I don't think it's that good. I just drink it because it's there. So I said, hey, is there anything else? And that's when he introduced me to Pierre Ferrand, and I got a bottle of that. It was the same price, and it was 10 times better than Hennessy is. And I was like, oh man, that's awesome. And then I ended up getting a bottle of Whistle Pig, and this guy stopped, right? And he stopped me. There's some random kid. It was just some dude in the grocery store, and he went on this whole rant just because I was looking at the bottle about Whistle Pig and how it's made and all this other stuff. He was really excited, and it was so good. His monologue was so good about it that I ended up buying it. It was $80.
He sold you on it pretty much.
He really did. And when I went home, I'm like, damn, if I'm going to pay $80 for a bottle of whiskey, I might as well put this shit on camera. And I ended up putting it on camera, just my cell phone, right here at this table. I put it on camera. I drank it. I just talked. I had nothing prepared. I wanted to do it. It was 4th of July. It was 11 o'clock in the morning. So I ended up doing.
Why were you in such a bad mood?
I'm from Massachusetts.
Asshole.
Everybody's a dick out here. Like, so I ended up. You guys know.
It's no different here.
Yeah, Jersey's miserable too.
Oh no, you guys know. We're gonna get into that. I ended up getting this bottle and opening it and doing the whole thing on my cell phone, and people loved it. Like I had like 30 people be like, "Oh man, this should be a show. This should be 100% a show." Like, "Oh, you're hilarious." This, and I had just COVID is going on, and I can't perform on stage. Up here in Massachusetts, we have, I think, some of the strictest standards in the country, and because Boston was so bad back in April that even now we're not even allowed to go to Rhode Island.
I mean, that's really funny. Like, thank God.
You're right, but you're right.
Oh man, my weekend trip to Rhode Island.
Weird. That's just the thing. Some people go because they outlawed menthols in Mass.
Why?
So why? I don't, because he thinks that that's going to make people stop smoking menthols. No, what he did,
illegal trade.
Yeah.
100% what he did, because all my friends sell cigarettes. But yeah, so I did it. People loved it, and then the next day I had a meeting with Let's Talk, and I had that meeting set up already. But once they saw that, they were like, "Dude, let's do this."
You got to roll with pretty much.
Yeah, they were like, because they saw the response from that, just a cell phone thing, and they're like, "Dude, imagine if we put production behind this." And I ended up doing it. And the first episode, and I have almost like 4,000 views now. And most of those views happened like over like 3.5K happened before we even tried to promote it on Facebook.
Yeah.
That was just because people they like booze. And apparently people think I'm funny. So, and I hope so. But it was something that I can do in lieu of going on stage.
Yeah.
You know?
How was the ghost pepper jelly today?
It was delicious, and I recommend it. I will be honest. I was underwhelmed. I thought I was prepared. Did you guys see that? You all saw that video?
I was just going to tell them about it. So if he got his video to 4,000 views, he was going to take ghost pepper jelly and put it on like a cracker or like a piece of bread or something, and he live streamed it. So like he had a really like good helping on this.
A nice dollop of Nice.
It was. I did it twice too. I was afraid of that jelly, but believe it or not, it's actually, because of the fruits they use, it's delicious. If you find it in the store, buy it. It's actually really good. It's just that I did the one chip challenge, and nothing on earth has ever been as hot as that damn chip. It was like $50, and it was like a gift on Christmas, and it took me 3 months to eat it. And I did that video because I wanted to do it in a video studio, and I was
little bites.
Yeah, I ate that chip, and it messed me up for 2 days. Your stomach, it goes in your stomach, and it just doesn't. It's like this election. It's fucked up. It's just in your stomach, just talking shit. It's bad. And so I don't think something else. Plus, I did the noodle challenge. You know, the spicy noodle challenge that's on YouTube. So there's some. If you Google like spicy noodle challenge, it's like this black bag of ramen. And I did the double one, the red one, and I ate that 4 times in prep for the chip, and it didn't do shit. Like, up until the chip, that was the hottest thing I ever had. So now I think I messed myself up because that jelly was hot, but it wasn't anywhere near, and it didn't last that long. So that's why I recommend it, because it's hot. Don't get me wrong, especially if you don't eat hot stuff, but it will wear off in like I'll say like 5 minutes, but that chip burned me for 45 minutes.
Did you ever have regular pepper jelly? Because that shit's amazing.
No,
That, bro, it is phenomenal. So that's why when you're saying ghost pepper jelly, I'm like, this might be something I need to invest in.
Do it. It's
So I
$7.
might have to But again,
Just so you know, I don't know your finances, but it's expensive.
I had to rack up enough arcade change for that.
Oh, man. That's how I felt. I felt like that when I had that beer, like on episode 2. That beer is $15 for 4 cans.
You know what resonated with me when you were talking about you like to drink the beer because there are all these pompous assholes on there that think they have a sophisticated palate. And you see with wine drinkers, it's like saying, oh, The Phantom Menace was a good movie, and these Star Wars nerds are just like, actually, if you think back, it doesn't make, it's the same type of shit. Just shut up and enjoy the fucking beer.
They will cut your head off.
Yeah, I completely understand what you're talking about there. I'm with you.
I get shit about, like, all right, so that first episode I did the larceny, and so you guys know, when I do this show, I really haven't had this booze.
How do you decide like which one you want to get? Like you just like close your eyes and just pick, or like
I just go to the liquor store, whatever catches my eye, I do it. And my sister is one of the funniest people I know, and I brought her on as like a producer, so she helps me pick. And she drinks a lot more. She has more of an eclectic taste than I do, so she's had more things. Especially because she used to bartend. My dad runs a bar, actually. So my sister bartended there. So she knows a lot more than me when it comes to the different types of booze. And like she'll help me pick. So I picked Larceny at the time because it was cheap. And I was like, I wonder if this is a good, cheap, because a lot of people don't have money. So I wanted to pick a whiskey because I'm very bougie. Like the whiskey I drink, like it has to be, I don't know. I just go over the top shelf. And because I like good tasting liquor. And I was like, I wonder if this is, I've never heard of it. I wonder if it's good. I brought it on the show. I did it live. I hated it. And I got people like, oh, this guy doesn't drink bourbon.
Yeah,
and I'm like, it was like $20.
But like you were like gonna like try it. Like you're like, okay, like just from like the smell alone, you're like, okay, need to
yeah,
mix like this.
Like, it smells violent. It smells like you're going to prison that night. Like, you know what I'm talking. You ever have that night where you're like mad at an ex? The last thing you want to do is drink. You know what I mean? And like, or she might not be your ex, but she is after you drink. And this is the whiskey you do that. This is the whiskey that will end your relationship. So that's what I ended up with, the Larceny. It was gross.
It was like reminding me of like when we were in like high school and you were like forced to drink whatever you could get on. So I was thinking about like all like the gross like 99 bananas and shit like that.
Lead vodka. Disgusting.
Oh yeah. I've had Mr. Boston. Do you have Mr. Boston over there?
No.
I don't think
Mr. Boston you will throw up.
If anyone's the king of cheap liquor, it's me.
Oh, it's you.
I am the plastic.
He just got a plastic bottle with a green label on it that just says gin.
It's like government gin.
I see a nice glass bottle in New Amsterdam for $19.99, and I see a lower bottle that just says like Gilby's gin for $6.99. I'm getting that. People don't even like to come over because I have horrible alcohol for them.
His liquor cabinet's $15.
It's the only place you'll go where someone gives you a drink and you're like, nah, I'm good.
My liquor cabinet costs more than the liquor inside.
That's how you wake up throwing up out of your butt.
How did you come up with the name of the show? Because the name of the show is like a Rick and Morty like rambling type thing. Like Daddy Fuego's liquor, booze, trying out show.
Right now, granted,
like a Family Guy joke.
This is the first time that you mentioned Rick and Morty that I actually connected those, and that's 100% spot on. The way I came up with it was. First, it was 2 parts. It was the Daddy Fuego thing was separate from the liquor booze trying out show. The Daddy Fuego came from a set I did where so the beginning of COVID, OnlyFans started blowing up, right? Everybody getting an OnlyFans, and I was on stage somewhere. I forgot which show it was, but I said, I was the end of my set. And I said, hey, make sure you guys follow me on Instagram at, Damian Rivera Comedy. And I started saying on my handles. And then I was like, and OnlyFans, Daddy Fuego. Like, it just came out. And I was like, make sure you follow me on OnlyFans, Daddy Fuego. I don't know. It was funny to me. And the crowd thought it was funny. And so I started annoying everybody in my life with that name because they don't want me to call myself that. They think it's so corny. And that's why I love it. That's why I love it.
That's why it's the
So
best.
I had my friend makes glasses. Like she makes vinyl. She puts vinyl on glasses. So I made her make me a Daddy Fuego glass. And I didn't make her. I paid her to do it.
Fucking make it.
I didn't make her do shit. But I'm not Ike Turner. But like I paid her money, American dollars, and she did it. And so I had that. I used that on the show. The first one on July 4th I did on my cell phone. And the rest of it, the Liquor Booze Trying Out show, was live when I was on live and I was drinking it. I literally didn't know what I would call the show. And I said, Daddy Fuego's Liquor Booze Trying Out show. Like, I don't know. Like, I was throwing out a name like that, right? Because I was drinking whiskey at 11 o'clock in the morning. So I was like, I don't know what I'll name the show. So it just came out of my face. And then when I went to the production meeting to start doing the show, they're like, what are you going to call the show? And I'm like, I think I'm going to call it that. I think I'm going to go with that. Because
Did they go for it right away?
Funny. Absolutely. Yeah, what I love about Benny's the head at Let's Talk is that, like, because he saw the reaction from the cell phone vid, he just trusted me. The only, like, he really lets me rip. Because that show, by the way, I don't write any of it. I buy the booze. I show up to set. We set up the whole set. It's done in an actual studio. You know what I mean? Like, we set up the whole set, the mics, all that stuff, and I literally just rip. It's all 100% off the top, like live. I wanted to keep it as genuine as possible. Mm-hmm. All he does is control my time. So, because if I'll ramble and I'll have a 25-minute video, that's like not something we want to do. Yeah. So he'll just control like how much time I'm on there. So there'll be a timer. There's actually a timer, and I have to stay with him.
Well, it's like when you're doing your set, when you can't run the light.
Yes, 100%. Are you all comics?
I am.
Failed.
Not professionally, but
Scott, you want to tell them about the time that you did it?
I don't want to tell them about the second time I did it and failed miserably.
It's tough, man.
Yeah. I'd rather talk about this successful station I'm building.
Yeah, so you know about running the light. Like, they'll pull your ass off stage. And so that's what it is.
You won't get booked there again. You'll be fucked.
Yeah. When my first time ever doing comedy, right, it was an open mic. Because I didn't know how to start. I didn't know any comic friends. Mm-hmm. And when you go to start, they say, how do you start doing comedy? I'm like, you just do it. You'll find like a mic and then you'll do it. And I went and I didn't know what the hell the light was. No, I thought she was just spazzing on her phone, and she actually went on stage and pulled me out.
You need to stop now.
But it was messed up because it was 5 minutes, and she pulled me off at like 5:23.
That's a little extreme.
Yeah, that was a little messed up.
I mean, were you good? Was it okay?
You know what? It was a lot better than I thought it was.
I think that happens a lot the first time people go on. I really do. Yeah. Then the second time, you never want to.
I bombed my ass off the second time.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, you're chasing the funny.
Time, you get so confident. You're like, oh my god, I made these people laugh.
I know.
I'm all right. And then you go up again with that same confidence, and like the shit does not go off that way, and you're like, what?
No. Oh man, you know what I was doing? The first time I was telling true stories, and I was storytelling, and it went good. I was talking about my failures as a local rapper and all that stuff. And then the second time, I actually try to create like jokes, things that didn't happen, and I was trying to be funny. I wasn't trying to be funny the first time. I was trying to be funny the second time. It didn't come out right. It bombed. Your first time bombing, I feel like, I don't know how it is for y'all, but for me, it was depressing. It was the most embarrassing. Everything you're afraid of happens.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll
And you're
say
like,
I'll say like the feeling, because I mean you used to rap, me and Brian did. You know when you rap, you're good. Like you know you could spit. You know like a bar, even in whatever group you're around. All right, there's certain bars I could throw out that I know this people here, this group is gonna like, that group's gonna like, whether girls are around or whatever. With comedy, you don't fucking know. So like the feeling is one of the worst helpless feelings on stage of all time. It is brutal. It's so hard to explain to people who've never done it.
The one thing you really hear a lot of too is a good joke with a bad crowd. So like that's a shitty thing too. Is like you never know what could happen to any given night.
Yeah, you do the same set in 2 different places and it doesn't go good. Like you'll kill one.
That's one thing the first, I would say I was like a year into doing comedy, and I had done a showcase show, and I ended up, the set I did, it was like a 10-minute set, and I ended up booking 3 different spots off that. And this was like the first time I was ever going to get paid. I mean, it was only like $25, but the fact that I was being paid to be on a show was like mind-blowing to me. So
everything,
it was on, the first one was on a Thursday, and then the following one was the upcoming Saturday. So the booker was at the show where he saw me do the set, and I go to the new show that he's going to do, and I was like, hey, what do you want me to do? And he's like, oh, do whatever. And I go, well, you want me to do the same set I did that you saw? And he's like, yeah, that'll be fine. So I did this set, and I opened up with jokes about Larry Nassar and him being a pedophile and getting away with the shit he did with parents in the room. And like, I was able to pull this joke off really well in front of a younger crowd. So I go up and I'm opening the show for there were two middle people, and then a headliner was doing 45. And so they're like, go up, do like 8 minutes. I was like, oh, easy, I'm good, because I made people laugh. I got a big head now. I got all this fucking confidence. I go up, and the first minute of my set, I do a joke about Larry Nassar, and it does not hit. And it's a room full of 50-year-olds, and they fucking hate me. Me. I do 8 or 9 more minutes in total silence.
Oh no.
And I come back down off the stage. I sit down at the table in the back with the headliner and other guys. The headliner looks over at me, goes, how long you been doing this? And I was like, oh, only like a couple months now. He's like, yeah, that was fucking rough. You'll learn.
You got all those older comedians.
Hey,
people that have been in the game a while.
Question really quick. What to you is the worst group when you do comedy? Like bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, a teenage crowd. Like who's the most annoying? And like who do you feel like, all right, I have to kind of cater to them, or I have to not say certain jokes? Do you bite your tongue if certain groups are around?
No, because my type of comedy identifies with everybody. So like I talk about things that actually happen to me that other people like. I'm not a shock comic, so I don't have super offensive jokes, and I'm not very sexual, so I don't have to worry about, like, I've done old crowds. It's funny, I can say the best crowds I would say are the old people. I don't know why they adore me. But because I have a lot of old people problems. I have like diabetes and sleep apnea, and like old people, they love when I talk about that. And I think to me the worst crowds have been not necessarily demographic, but as far as size. Like for some reason I am awful in a small room. Like I don't know why, but I've not mastered the small, and it's fun because you start that way. Yeah. But for some reason, like the when I get a bigger crowd, like I got 100 people or something out there, I'm murdering shit. And I don't know if it's my confidence or whatever, but whenever it's a big crowd, I murder it. But the last show I did before COVID, I took a cafe because it was what was there, and I have to learn how to say no to certain shows, but I just love performing. So I'm like, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And
is that how we got you on this one?
No, actually how you got me on this one was talking about John Connor and all them. I was super elated to be like, oh shit, you want me? But
yeah, I've actually been like cracking up all day with your bit on FTD, food transmitting diseases. So like anytime that like I'm eating something like sweet, like I'm always like FTD.
The FTD joke. You know what's funny? I thought that would go over better than it did. Like, but I don't care. I laugh my ass off and I say I don't give a shit. I think it's funny.
Well, like working through that, did you like try to think through like, oh, like what STD would like fit this? Like when you like compared having diabetes to AIDS, I was like, oh shit.
I'll be honest with you. I freestyle my stage comedy too.
Okay.
So you know why? Because I never learned how to write jokes. So like what ended up happening was I didn't know comedians. Like I didn't know anybody. I didn't know how to do this shit. So the first time I ever performed, I like said it in my head. By freestyling, I mean I'll rehearse stuff at home in my head, but I won't touch the paper. And I'll go on stage and I'll say, I'll just adjust to how they're being. So if you saw like that means you saw the Bing Arts one, the Bing Arts Center. So when I did that, I really didn't have. I had some prepared, but a lot of that, like prepared as it in my head, but a lot of that stuff on the way there. And that's a dangerous game to play.
Yeah.
Dangerous game to play. But I have confidence, and it went off great. But that little room I did, for some reason, I did that set. The set that I did at Bing Arts, that I murdered it. I actually studied that set, right? And I did that show, and I bombed my ass. It was funny at all, but there was only like I didn't know. I've never been there before. I didn't know the size of it. It was so rookie of me to like. I don't even know. I just showed up, and there were like 8 people there, and I feel like I don't know if I'm more I feel like I'm more nervous in front of smaller crowds.
Maybe you're more personable. Like, think about it. Like, with a big crowd, you're not making eye contact with all of them. You know? So, like, with a smaller crowd, it's like, wow, there's 8 set of eyes on me, barring someone with some weird fucking eye patch or something. But there's 8 eyes on me here. So now I'm actually, like, seeing everyone's reaction. So you're not seeing the old diabetic in the back watching you, as you kindly put it, you know?
But you know what the thing is, though? It's like smiling and laughing is like yawning. It's like a psychological thing for everybody. No, but like, if you have a room full of 100 people and you get 25 of those people laughing, there's a good chance the other 75
other people will start laughing.
It's like watching a comedy movie.
If you have 10 people and 3 people laugh, the other 7 are like, "What the fuck are you laughing at?"
What are you, idiot?
You know, as a comic, the worst feeling in the world is if you're like coming up with material, one of your friends is like, all right, what do you got? And it's like when one-on-one like that, you're like, I can't do this shit. And that's what it felt like. Like I was doing comedy for like my friends, and like you don't do that. No. So because the setting for comedy is not there, you really have to have that there. And that was something that to me was bad. Fortunately, I've been doing comedy since not that long, because I've been rapping my whole life, but comedy I've been doing since October of 2018. So I am fortunate to not have had a heckler or anybody, come at me. And I think it's just because of the what I talk about is not necessarily inviting for people to yell shit at me.
You're it's talking more about your personal problem. I have diabetes, moron. Fucking loser.
Shit, I used to make chicken nuggets. Like, I don't know. So that's why people don't. Plus, I love old people. I do, man, because I had this old couple one time, and I'm like, hey, how long you been together? She's like, like 50 years. And I'm like, oh, she's a keeper. Like, and I just like you need to stick with her. Like, I don't know. I like messing with people like that. I was making fun of this one kid one time because he had a jersey on like a Wednesday. And I was like, he knows he got a jersey on, and football ain't even on today.
That's so weird. Like, I never thought about making fun of someone. That's genius, because I've actually probably worn jerseys out Blondie, my team hasn't
Dude,
played.
if you
right?
wear jerseys, like you need to do laundry. That's what that means.
Yeah, the guy probably laid it out on his bed right before he went out to the big show.
Yeah.
Telling his girl, he's like, "Where are the jerseys tonight?"
I'm gonna
Oh,
wear
yeah,
this
dude.
on Wednesday.
Fucking jersey.
Yeah, he had like a football. He had like a freak. It wasn't even a team that was here either. Like it was. I don't know who the hell.
It was like
I
a
don't even
Herman
remember.
Moore Detroit Lions jersey.
Yeah, what is he doing? It was hilarious, and that room was mad old people because that was actually my first show ever. Was a charity show for Alzheimer's benefit. It was a fundraiser to raise money for like the Alzheimer's, and there was a lot of old people there. And somebody went on stage and goes, "Man, it doesn't matter. Like if you bomb, they won't remember."
Yeah. I mean, it's such an easy joke, but so mean. Like,
Oh God, it's so bad. The crowd thought it was hilarious.
I
But,
think it's funny. But were there? Wait, did they like? Was it like? Did they bus people with Alzheimer's to the show? Like,
you know what? You never know. I don't know. Maybe there were some pretty old people, man. There were some pretty old people there, and they love. I started off with an eyebrows joke, like, and girls have to paint them, and they didn't. The girls, they liked it at the show, but I got a lot of shit for that.
Really?
You don't talk about these girls' eyebrows like that, but yeah, I was a rapper for a long time, so people.
I was going to ask you what made you kind of give up with rap and get into the comedy?
I didn't. So what ended up happening was I do both. I still rap. What's happening is right now I'm recording an album, so I'm quiet.
No, okay. Until this comes out now.
Yeah. Now this is
now
everybody. Oh shit! No, people. I said it on the podcast. I actually, before I was part of Let's Talk, I was a guest, and I mentioned, "Hey, I'm putting out this project, and I'm still doing it." It's just what ended up happening was, so when it comes to rap, like a lot, hey, everybody knows 25 rappers, right? How many? Very few people know comedians personally, right?
Yeah.
So what ended up happening is in 2018, I had put out an album. It didn't obviously do good because I started doing comedy. But what happened was I decided to just start. I wanted to do comedy my whole life. I went to performing arts high school for music and theater, and for all 4 years. And I learned recording there. I learned a whole bunch of stuff about what I do now. I learned it there, and I always wanted to do stand-up. I was always so scared to try doing stand-up. And one day I got like something really awful happened to me, right? I went through a really bad breakup, and I decided that, hey, you know what? Nothing will make me feel worse than this does. So whatever they say, I'm going to try it. Whatever they say, it's not going to bother me. So I ended up doing it, and it ended up feeling really good. And to answer your question, what ended up happening, why I started doing more comedy than music, is I use both to vent. Because I'm talking about my life. When I got diagnosed with diabetes, I was very upset because your whole life changes, and it's a serious thing, and you can die, like if you don't take care of it. And the sleep apnea, I was having seizures in my sleep and all this other stuff because I have complex, like, so it's a mix with central, so my brain doesn't tell my lungs to breathe while I'm sleeping. So I have to use that machine or I won't breathe at all. So those things scare me, and they affect my health, and I feel awful. Like, well, when I first got diagnosed all the time because I was untreated, and I started using that to vent on stage. And I noticed that whenever I vented through music, I had to stay in that moment to make that song. So that song had to match the feelings I was feeling, because that's what music is. Music is feeling. When you do comedy, it's feeling too, but you have to find the silver lining because you have to be funny. So I started noticing that it was more healthy therapy for me to do comedy than music when it came to venting as my outlet, because music, I would make this, song about what I'm going through, whatever. I listen to it. Everybody's like, oh man, it's helping me feel better. I'm like, yeah, but I had to feel that the whole damn night. I can't hear that song. because it's I'm talking about really dark things. When you talk about dark things in comedy, you can go as dark as you want, but you're finding a lining, like a silver lining in it. You got to find the funny in all of the darkness. You know what I'm saying?
And that's a big thing that I've noticed, like with like all your videos and stuff and everything that you've posted is just like from like what I've seen from your personality from like watching those videos. You seem like such like a happy-go-lucky, just like high energy person. Is that due to the comedy? Like, were you like this 2 years ago, or has this kind of like transformed your personality?
I'll tell you what. To my friends personally, I've always been this way. On my own, I was awful. The world didn't really know me because I was a rapper. So not because I sucked and I was local, nobody knew me, but I mean like in the essence of they didn't know me outside of my music. When you do comedy, right? I feel like you just put a lot of yourself on this because comedy is something that's live all the time.
Yeah.
You can do music on the internet. Comedy on the internet's not the same. Trust me, I did it when COVID started. I did a show.
You did one of those the virtual shows?
Yeah, but it was like there was a stage.
Really?
You know what I mean? Yeah. So we actually did it in that video studio where each comic came up. It's just like you normally would do it, only no crowd. And that was super weird, but when I read the comments, people were dying, and so they thought it was really funny. But I just noticed that like once you start doing comedy and people know you as a comic, they don't want to see you be morose. You know what I mean? That would be so like if I ever met Bill Burr and he was like, "What's up?" You know what I mean? And that knowing him, like looking at him, that might happen. I am this person, like a bubbly person, but yeah, comedy really did help me. You know what it helped me find? It helped me find my confidence because after years of making music and feeling like I didn't get the reaction I wanted. Like when you make music and you work so hard, because music is really hard to do.
Yes.
And very, very hard. And you put a lot, and you take a lot of offense to bad criticism because you put so much of yourself into it. And when people don't receive it the way they do in your head, it starts to chip at your self-esteem a little bit after a while. And, it affects your character. You get a chip on your shoulder. It might even make you make better music, but, it just affects your mood a lot and the way you look at the world. But with comedy, it gave me confidence and it gave me more self-esteem to where this is who I actually am, but now I'm not afraid to show people. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's a good point. It reminds me of the one Budden song, Brian, you might know it more than me, where he says, like, when you're alone with your thoughts, your mind could paint a sick picture. I forget. Yeah. I'm misquoting it, but, like, that's kind of what you just talked about. It reminds me of that bar he spit, because, like, there's times, like, I probably wrote, like, 3 songs in the past week, and a couple of them are pretty dark. And you get in these moods, man, like, and my wife will notice it. Like, you're just like, it's a weird vibe. Anyone who hasn't wrote music can't really, I get what you're saying. That's why I'm commenting on it. Like, it's just, you're in this place of just like a lot of mine have to do with the past and like just demon, like just stuff like that opening up. And you get into this vibe. It's just like sort of a depression. It's a weird thing. So that's one thing I want to mention. 2, I understand what you're talking about with no one appreciating it. We used to pass out mixtapes. They used to just get thrown and smashed.
Oh, yeah.
That shit's depressing. 3, the machine you have to breathe on. Quick funny story. So this man up top, he was sleeping in Dallas, and in the middle of the night, someone unplugged his machine to put their phone on a charger, and he woke up and he couldn't breathe.
I was about to kill him.
Nobody gives, like, there's no better way of showing somebody you give a shit about them than unplugging their sleep machine.
I almost died. I was on red.
To me, I'd flip out.
His eyes open.
I woke up like gasping for air. I was like,
oh my God. Does yours have that alarm? Because mine, if the power cuts off automatically, it has a little battery and then it does this alarm to wake you up.
Yeah. It's there's that, and then mine goes on like automatically if it feels any pressure. So like even like I'm like taking it off or like talking to my wife, Like just like how you said in your bit, like you can't be like I can't talk like.
Oh, so you must love that because you saw the Big Arts thing
Yep.
where I was talking about my
Totally
machine.
related.
And I was like, it's not sexy, like at all.
No.
Like, you're
There's no way of like at the end of the night, like, okay, honey, love you, good one, and then like press a bunch of buttons and
Fucking.
look like fucking Bane in bed.
You know what's one of the worst things with rap that goes unnoticed is when you have like a couple bars coming up that you know are really, really good, and you're playing it for people, and you're like, all right, listen to this part, and it goes through, and you say whatever the bars are, and they're like, yeah, it was pretty good. And you're like, wait a minute, did you really hear what the fuck I just said?
Yeah,
And they don't get it. Like that to me is infuriating.
Oh, I hate that is one of my pet peeves. That and when they do that because they were looking at their phone.
Oh my god.
Oh my god! Or when people talk, I hate when you're playing a song for somebody,
They talk, yeah.
and they talk over your shit, and they're like, "Who made this beat?" I'm like, dude, like you're gonna know who it is.
Yeah. Dude,
Like you don't even know who it is. Like, what do you care?
Just shut up and listen. I'm playing you a song. They'll be like, I like that. Oh, this beat's pretty good. Shut the fuck up. Like,
Yeah, you don't do that to Marshall.
Did you ever go to a studio and someone's there? Like, you go to a studio, you're supposed to be recorded, and there's another person there who normally records, and you can't get a thing done because they just want you to listen to their shit that they recorded previously. That has happened to me numerous times.
I have a rule.
Are you venting on here now?
I'm not. Go on.
There's a lot of shit he wants to get off his chest.
I
have a
gin and
rule.
tonic's deep. I'm pissed.
When I'm in the studio, if you're not part of the song, you're not allowed. I do that because, first of all, it costs money to be there. And second of all, because you're just a distraction. You know, I noticed this, and especially when we do the podcast, is that people just want to hang out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And people have asked me to just come hang out, and multiple people. I'm not talking about one person. I don't want one person to hit me up. You were talking shit about me on that podcast. Like, I mean, multiple people have hit me up, talking about all of you. But some people, they just want to be part of the coolness. Like, they see that you're doing things that are cool, and you go on stage. And some people have just wanted, like, they've never talked to me before ever in life. Go, oh, let me go to one of your shows. Like, come bring me backstage. And I'm like, get the hell out of my. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I try not to be humble, not have a chip on my shoulder, but like that's annoying. And people, those are the same people that talk during your damn song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that is one of my things. But I definitely am working on a new project. I actually just got a brand new engineer, so I just got off the phone with him now. Right before this, I had like an hour-long conversation with him because I've heard his work. I've never met him. So I was talking just about my sound, whatever, showing him. I'm going to send him like tracks and stuff like that. I've never actually had an engineer in my life. I've gone to studios because I've been on other people's songs, but I've always mixed my own music since I was 9.
Wow. That's
And now,
we were kind of spoiled because we had someone do that all, and when we got to the point where we didn't have access to like his studio anymore, like especially for me, I was just kind of in the dark. I didn't know how to do any of it. So God bless you for fucking knowing how to do that, man.
Well, I was 9 years old, and I started making my own. That's how I started. I started making. You remember anybody a WWE fan here?
Dan.
So remember, they used to play
Dan's a fucking weirdo.
Oh, he's the only one that doesn't.
No, Dan's the only one who likes it.
Like best friend DDP.
Yeah.
I don't watch it like back when I was a kid. I loved it, and they used to put out those CDs.
Yeah,
Oh my god, like forceful
with the
entry and
music.
stuff. I love that stuff.
Yeah,
I'm like coming out of my room like
with the
ready to go for the day.
That's what you did with it. Me, what I did was I used to take. I had a boombox. And I would put it in the CD deck, and then I would take one of my mom's cassettes that she forgot about, and I'd put a piece of tape over the dimple part. And if you do that, you could record over the tape. And
Okay.
I would take the headphones, and I would plug the headphones into the mic jack, and I would play the entrance music of whoever. Like I think the first song I did was like to the Undertaker's entrance. His old one, the one that had like dun, 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 that one.
Yeah.
And then the Brood. And I ended up pressing record and pressing play, and that's the first way I ever did it until I used Acid. That's a weird. That needs context. There's a program by Sonic Foundry called Acid. It's called Acid 3.0, and it was for loops mainly, but I learned how to record on that and like burn them on a CD back in like 2002. And that's how I started doing my own music. And from there, I just always mix my own records. This is the first project I'm ever letting somebody else mix. And the only reason why is I'm doing comedy. I'm working on a lot of this stuff. So I want to still be able to do this album, but I don't have time to like do all this, commit, because mixing is hard. So to commit myself to all this comedy, these shows, I'm thinking about producing like other shows too, not just this one. This, I wanted to see how this one would do. It's doing good. So in the future, I'm going to produce other shows about other things. And I'm working on these things. I can't do that. Write songs, mix, master too.
Yeah.
So that's why I have somebody who I think is really dope at mixing this project. So all I have to do is write and record it, send him the stuff. Because of COVID, all the studios are closed. So I send it. He mixes it in his home studio, same software and everything, and do that way so that I can dedicate a lot of my time to like this album. For all intents and purposes, it's done. It's written and stuff. All I'm doing is sending him the track outs, so he can mix them down. The cover's done, and then after that. I have one video. I'll do another video for it before I actually drop it. I'm fortunate enough to have like really talented videographers, more than one. I started networking that when I saw Joyner Lucas blow up, and Worcester's like 45 minutes away, and he blew up off of videos. His video game was sick, and it still is. But when he was doing it himself, like he's very, very clever. And I was like, damn, I gotta get some video. That's what I've been missing.
That's the key, man. That's the key. And I said that even with the podcast when we started this back in January. You got to get content on YouTube.
Visuals.
People need to see it. People would rather see it than watch it. They want to see this ugly mug up here. They don't want to hear my great voice.
That was my issue with music my entire time doing it, was that I did not. Admittedly, this is 100% my fault. Like, I didn't focus on the visuals as much as I did making great records. Like, all I wanted to do was make great records and perform them live on stage. But like, there's that element of photo shoots, having professional pictures, which I ended up having done because I was going to LA for Team Backpack,
right? And
then doing videos, but having them look good. Because the last thing I want is to have 52 people on the front lawn of my grandma's house. With somebody's phone. Like, I'm not dissing people that do that. I just don't want to look like, I want my videos to look like everybody else.
It has to be official though. You want to have a production. You want to have it be professional.
Yeah, I don't want people to. My biggest dread when it comes to music is I don't like to look, sound, or act like a local rapper, because I want to be up there with everybody else. So like, the reason why I didn't do physical copies was because if I'm going to do a physical copy, they have to look like they do at Best Buy.
Right.
Yeah.
If they don't look like they do at Best Buy, I'm not making them. And in order to make them look like that, it's crazy expensive.
Yeah.
And you have to see a return on that. So that's why I lean more on digital distribution. Plus, who the hell listens to, I don't listen to CDs.
I actually buy CDs. That's me though. I'm real old school. Like,
why though?
I just like, I'll tell you. I don't like listening to music on my phone because it drains the battery. Plus, if someone texts me or calls me on my phone, the music stops. I don't like that. I'd rather have the physical CD in so I can still skip the tracks I want to hear.
Because you're old man.
Yeah, that's just, I just got DJ Hoppa's second CD in the mail today, and I was playing it. So, yes, I physically buy CDs. That's just me, though.
I buy, you know what I do? I buy cassettes. Like, I have Eminem's cassettes. You know how he puts out those cassettes?
Yeah.
Okay. I have, just to have them, because I'm an Eminem fan, but I have the cassettes because I know later on somebody might want them. I don't know.
You never know.
Just
You
like
never know.
DVDs.
I don't have a cassette deck. Like, I just buy them to buy them. But I do definitely have a project coming out, and I will never. I don't see myself not rapping because it's all I know. Like I've been rapping since 9.
Yeah.
It's just that comedy actually, like, I made money. I don't care if it's $5. I don't care if it's $20. But what I'm noticing is happening is like this situation right now. You know, I did my comedy, and from that, you notice like my music. You know what I mean? And I always said
I saw your music first.
That's
and
dope.
then I saw.
What did you see? Which track was it?
I don't remember the name of it. I saw it on YouTube. There was a music video. I think it was Cypher. It was like on a rooftop. I forget the guy's name.
Justice?
It might have been. I think it was somebody else's video, but you went at like the 2-minute mark in it.
Okay.
I forget what.
A lot of stuff.
It was something Cypher. That's what I came across, and it's because you know how shit works on computers and phones. As soon as I come across that, then I go on Facebook and there's a suggested friend, Damian Rivera, and I was like, oh, this is a dude who I was just watching the video. All right, I'll send a friend request, and I was like, oh, he does comedy too. Oh, and he does this podcast. Okay,
that's dope. I just said that people, if I start getting noticed through comedy, which it's funny because I felt like the universe wanted me to do, because whenever I was trying to book shows and do that, it was like pulling teeth to get people to listen and all that stuff. When it came to comedy, like, I did a couple open mics, and the next thing I know, I'm being offered a paid spot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh my God, that was easy. I thought it was going to take me a long time in order to get a dime out of this. Right. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I did that show. Then I got booked 3 more paid. And people are just in my inbox going, oh, I got a show this day. You want to do this show? Do you want to do that? I'm like, that never happened with rap. It never happened with rap. Ever. And I was like, oh, snap. Now I did the Daddy Fuego thing. Now the views, I got more views doing that than I ever did. Like, so it's like, I feel like this is what I was like supposed to do because it's like doors fly open when I do it. Yeah. But my passion for music will never die.
But you know what the thing is though, you'll never. It's not like you can't ever go back to rapping. Right. Yeah. Like that's the way I've kind of always looked at it. Like, I mean, me and Scott have been the same with this. Like we've been rapping for years and years since we were 14, 15 years old. And it's like you put all of this work in. Okay, we recorded hundreds of songs and mixtapes and put this on this website and put this there. And it's like, damn, it's not going anywhere. It's not anything. And then like I get into doing comedy and then I'm a couple months into it and I'm the same position as you were. Right. Okay, I got paid for this. Wait a minute. You want me to stand up here for 7-8 minutes and you're going to give me $50 to do that? Like,
yes, that's a lot of money for that much time.
Mind-blowing. And I'm just going to sit here and ramble about ridiculous shit that I think.
And even if you're not funny, you're getting paid.
Yeah.
You want to be funny, though.
I know.
Yeah, you want to be funny, but like, yeah, when you think, because people, that's the first thing I always ask you, how much you get paid for that? Yeah. And even to think about it, like, all right, some people make $20 an hour. If you make $20 for 5 minutes,
yeah,
that's a good rate. that's a good rate. And plus you usually get free booze. I do. Or free food. I went to one place, they gave us tacos.
Or an appetizer or something. You end up getting free shit.
Yeah, you get free shit. Plus, at the same time, like, people, they come up to you, they talk to you, you feel like a damn celebrity. Like, it's awesome. I love and a lot of it's selfish if it has to be. Like, I do it because it makes me feel good. But at the same time, I make other people feel good because I don't know what that person, one time I had a nurse in there, right? And she, she's an ER nurse. And I'm making her laugh. I can't imagine what she just went through, especially working around here. It's violent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you get gunshot wounds, a kid died. You go to a comedy show and you laugh your ass off that night because I made you laugh, and that makes me feel like awesome that I was able to do that for you. And that's why I do comedy. At first, it started off to make me feel better, but then I saw like people's faces before I started. And then people's faces when I got off stage, and I'm like, damn, I can tell, like, your day just got better. Nice. And That's that right there, man. Like that.
That's the most rewarding thing about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best.
That'll push you past the days where you bomb, because there's sometimes you just don't ever want to say
you don't want to go back again.
You don't ever want to feel that insignificant. And but with rap, like I've performed all over New York City. I performed in LA. I've done the ciphers. I did Team Backpack. That like cipher. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that.
I did Team Backpack in New York in 2016. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to do that one.
Ren Thomas won it. That time.
2015 in LA. That's Mission Underground LA.
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah.
And I wanted to fly over there, not even just for that, but because I'm thinking like, yo, who am I gonna meet out here? Joel Ortiz was there.
Yeah.
And I'm 100% Puerto Rican as far back as I see in my family tree. So Joel Ortiz to me is
Mr. Yawa. We like.
Yeah. Plus I kicked it with Chris Rivers, a Big Pun son.
Yeah.
And I was able to chop it up with him, and I was just like, dude, your dad. I'm sure he's so sick of that.
Oh, he's so sick of it. So sick of it.
Dude, if your dad is Big Pun. Like I have to bring it up.
You can't escape that. Like it's gonna follow you forever.
It's like if Haley decided she wanted to start rapping, like people wouldn't bring up M. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's gonna happen, and he knows. And you know what's funny? I said, yo, I'm sorry if you're sick of hearing this shit, but I'm Puerto Rican and I'm from the Northeast, and you're dad to me. Like. Plus, and I said, but I straight celebrities. I did, when they go on like Hip Hop DX, or they're on like Double XL, or This Is 50 back when that was popping. I actually used to do the write-ups, and I would get paid monthly I would get like a set amount monthly to do those write-ups.
Nice.
And that was, and it was a good amount of money. Like I got, and that was, so that actually helped a lot with my music, because now I learned more of the business. You know what I'm saying? So now what I want to do is I'm gonna start. Well, like I said, this project's kind of tapering off into me helping other people, because in a lot of ways I feel like I miss my bus. It's just we are naturally, you get in your 30s, you feel that way.
Yeah.
But I said, yo, I don't have to miss the whole hip hop bus. Like, I don't have to be the front man, but if I can help somebody with the knowledge I learned from all the things I failed at, and I help them, because I know some dope MCs, and if I could put money behind them, and I can put knowledge behind them, and I can help push them and start my own label and do it like that, and then mix comedy with it and make it like this whole entertainment thing, why not? Now's the time to do it, man. COVID, like if you're a comic and you're not doing anything, like you got to learn camera work, man. Like you're gonna survive, you can't just be here doing nothing. You're gonna fall.
You can't be sitting around waiting for shows to open back up, because we're not looking at, like, there are some open mics around by us right now. I haven't gone out to any of them, because it's like, I don't know, you got people wearing masks, not a lot of people come out. It's just fucking weird. Like, I went to one just to watch, and like I knew a couple of the guys there, and they're like, oh, go up. I'm like, nah, I don't think I'm gonna go up. It's like, there's fucking 9 people here. Everyone's sitting around, everyone's spaced out. It's fucking weird. Nobody wants to talk about anything other than COVID and all the bullshit. I don't even want to fuck with it. But that's why you got to just get into other things.
Yeah, you're absolutely that's a solid point right there with the COVID jokes, because I knew, and I've been saying this whole time. I said, yo, when we come back, it's gonna be annoying. It's gonna be, everybody's gonna make COVID jokes, this, that. And I'm like, man, I'm going to do a show about drinking liquor. I'm going to talk about everything but COVID.
Exactly.
I don't want to, and
everybody's doing it. It's just refreshing. It's so much better to hear all that. Listen, we're all fucking bogged down by all this bullshit every single day. This many people died. This place is closed. We don't know if we're going to open this. Gyms may never open, blah, 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 blah. Like, why the fuck you want to continue on with that? Let's talk about something else. Let's get into other shit,
Yeah. I don't really do much, even in my sets. Like I don't do much current events. I don't touch politics. Not because I don't have opinions. It's just simply because I'm not that kind of person in real life anyway.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna sit there and chew your ear off about Trump or Biden. Or I might take little ribs because I think they're funny, but I'm not giving you my opinion on politics. I'm just saying I'm pointing out that this motherfucker's orange. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and stuff
It's
like
different.
that.
Yeah. It's different to get up there and be like, all right, listen, I'm going to do a whole 15 minutes about everything that's going on in Congress right now. And it's like, okay, that person's opinionated. They want to go into that. But if you just have little spots here and there, like you could throw a little Trump joke that'll get a little bit of a laugh.
Yeah.
It's not really.
Just a little bit of a jab. I'm more inclined to talk about like being worried my car's going to get repoed because people are thinking about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that is what people are really like. If you're going to talk about COVID in a way that other people aren't, because the way I did it on that one show was I was just talking about the effects financially. And what I'm worried about as far as the financial effects, like, oh shit, how am I going to pay my car? And making jokes about that as opposed to physically. And then I did a little thing about people are dumb with their masks, but that was 2 seconds, and that's in the start of it. We were the only people doing a show online at the time around here. But that's it. I've never mentioned anything. I don't do it on my show. We don't really talk about it too much on the podcast. I'm new to that podcast. I think I'm 3 episodes in since they added me.
Yeah.
The other one's about to come out tomorrow.
Right.
We had Richie Hector, who's this hilarious comedian, came by, and it was really cool. But yeah, I am definitely not done right now making music, but comedy is not only what pays me, but it's what people are paying attention to the most from me. Yeah. And through my comedy, you learn about my music, and people get interested. Yeah. And they go, damn, I wonder what this kid sounds like because he's hilarious and I like him. People, when you tell them, and you're going to test this, like when you tell someone you're a rapper, what is their reaction versus when you tell them you're a comic?
Laughter.
It's usually laughter. Like, oh, yeah, okay. And then for comedian, it's usually like, oh, tell me a joke then.
Well, that's just because New Jersey is mean. Here, what I found, I'm like, wait, that took a turn. I didn't expect you to do that.
Dude, when you say you're a rapper, when you say you're a rapper here, it's like, all right, yeah, I'm fucking sure you are, idiot.
Right. I get that. Yeah. When I tell people I'm a rapper, they're like, of course you do. But when I tell people I do comedy, they're like, oh shit, really? Like they're more intrigued. Maybe because, I don't know. Maybe it's because of my personality. Before I say it to them, my friends use it to pick up girls. Because we'll be out like a restaurant. The waitress will be hot, and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, he does comedy," and chicks love comedy, right? And they'll be like, "Oh yeah, come with me. We'll go to one of his shows." And like that's like the end.
A lot of pressure on you there.
Yeah, but I hope I'm like, damn, I hope I don't bomb. You're gonna look real fucking stupid.
Hey man, you got to go with what works.
Yeah.
All right, but let's get into this is like the closing segment of the show. It's a little game we like to play. It's called Gun to Your Head, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna ask you 3 questions each, and it's just a rapid fire. Just pick this or that pretty much. But what we like to do is we put our own little spin on it. So it's not like Coke or Pepsi or Burger King or McDonald's. All right. So we keep a score on the other show, which is the TruExact Radio. Yeah. But on this one, we just started doing it on here.
You can skip me for this one. Mine are horrible.
All right, Dan, then how about you start it off?
Yeah, really. Nobody you're in your shit.
Yeah, so you're asking me, I'm answering these questions?
Yeah, like mine are like plays on words this time.
Right? Then you pick a winner.
This is what we're going to do. So we're going to go around. We're each going to ask you 3 questions. You just answer the questions. First thing that comes to mind. You don't have to give any other response. Then after all of us go, you pick who had the best question in your opinion.
Oh, okay.
All right?
Got it.
Start off, Dan.
So, Springfield, Massachusetts, or The Simpsons Springfield?
The Simpsons.
Smart.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jelly beans or jelly donuts?
Jelly beans.
Oh,
Really?
That's
Jelly donuts suck, and if Krutz is ever watching,
I have
you're an asshole
diabetes.
for
If I
liking jelly
eat
donuts.
jelly donuts, I'll die.
imagine I sent him a dozen jelly donuts.
And then the last one, I guess, with comedy would be Mitch Hedberg or Stephen Wright.
Stephen Wright.
Oh, Massachusetts.
That guy's hilarious. Yeah.
Right, is it my turn? Should I go?
Yeah, you can go now, Scott.
All right. Would you rather walk down Sesame Street or a street filled with sesame seeds?
Sesame seeds. That Sesame Street's creepy.
All right. Listen to CeeLo Green or get seasick?
CeeLo Green.
Okay. Last one. What's worse, a French crawler or a cruel Frenchman?
A cruel Frenchman.
Okay.
That was a good one. All right. I'll go. We'll let Eric go last. All right.
All right.
Would you rather have your car towed by a guy named Chuck, or would you rather chuck a toad at a moving car?
I'd rather have my car too. You can't hurt animals.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Would you rather live one day completely naked or fall asleep for a year?
I'd do the nudity.
Okay.
Okay. Would you rather put ghost pepper jelly on everything you eat or go vegan?
Ghost pepper jelly.
Would you rather hear crickets?
Oh man,
Fuck you, Scott. That was just...
I would have to eat the crickets, man.
Eat the crickets?
I'd have to eat the crickets.
Okay,
That's a good
you never have to wear either one again. Your sleep apnea mask or a COVID-19 mask?
I'd rather not wear the sleep apnea mask because you can't. It's embarrassing.
Wow. All right.
Because you're the only one wearing it.
Yeah.
Dumb question.
Yeah,
All right, Dame.
came over 2 minutes ago.
Who had the best question? Who's the winner?
Oh man.
Dan, yours are okay too.
Yeah. All right, Dame.
I don't remember his.
Horrible.
That's fucking funny.
Plug your Instagram, your podcast, the Daddy Fuego, everything.
Will do. All right. So you can check me out at Damian Rivera Comedy. That's my Instagram. DAMIAN Rivera Comedy, and the podcast at Let's Talk Us Now. As far as Fuego Liquor Booze Trying Out Show can be found on Instagram TV at Let's Talk Us Now or on Facebook at Let's Talk Us Now, as well as you can find the links on my comedy. So everything is kind of together. So you can find links to everything on every page I have.
Nice.
Awesome. Dude, thanks so much for coming on. We had a great time. This was an awesome episode.
Thank you. No, this was an honor. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. And yeah, I look forward to seeing this. This is awesome. I appreciate you.